Hey, good afternoon. It's the start of a week and another edition of Social Media Pie. This is Brenda Meller, and I'm so excited today because I have a very special guest with me, Kesha Kent. Kesha, how are you doing on this lovely Monday?
I am blessed. Brenda, how are you, girlfriend?
I am great. It is so nice to talk to you in person. I feel like we see each other and we're always interacting with each other online, and it's so nice to finally hear your voice again.
It is, and yours as well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So we're going to get started with the discussion in just a few minutes here. But what I'd like to do is welcome anybody. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on LinkedIn, I want you to take a moment, maybe add a comment below and just let us know where you're watching us from. Where in the world are you watching us from? I'm in Metro Detroit, and you're in, is it St. Louis? Am I remembering correctly?
I'm in St. Louis.
So we're kind of spread out across the United States, and I imagine we have some viewers in our own hometowns, but we might have some folks watching from other areas too.
That's true. All over the country.
So I'll remind you guys, and as you're watching the video here, you're going to see I'll have some different kind of tickers running along the bottom just to remind you. But anytime you see these live videos, jump in and add a comment because we can't see who you are until you say hi or hello. And I always like to do the five words, hey, Kesha. And if you know Kesha, drop that in the comments below. If you have questions about the conversation, you can drop those there too. And we're streaming on Facebook as well as LinkedIn right now. If you comment on Facebook, I can actually pull your comment up on screen. So let me just show you on here. My friend Chris Garrity's at home watching here today. So we have Chris, and
Chris.
Yeah, and then Kesha also dropped a comment in there. So I'll pop those comments in a little bit later. So what I'd like to do, though, is just to kind of kick off this conversation and get us started. So this is kind of my show, if you will, Kesha, and I've been calling this Social Media Pie. And the pie is an acronym because I invite inspiring people to inform and educate you, our viewing audience. And then I love pie too, so that's a little bit of an
especially
undertone.
Apple pie.
Apple pie is a good pie. I don't know if I have a favorite. I do like the double crust pies with the fruit. I have to say those are really good. So apple would be a good one there.
Apple pie with vanilla ice cream.
Ooh, nice. Very nice. And when I invited Kesha out, I said, hey, let's pick a topic to talk about. And she chose networking. It's a superpower. So we're going to get into that conversation in just a moment. But before we do so, I just want to kind of remind folks how we met. And I think originally it was 2019 or 2018. I'm not even remembering, but it was through LinkedIn. I think you reached out to me, right? And as I do with every person who reaches out to connect with me on LinkedIn, I sent you my screening message. I kind of politely sent you a note and I said, hi, Kesha. And in so many words, who the heck are you and why do you want to connect with me? Right? It was a little bit more polite than that, but it was kind of like, right. If we've met and I'm forgetting, can you remind me, kind of a thing. Right. And we started having a conversation. I discovered from your profile that you're a Toastmaster. We were all both affiliated at the time with an organization called Together Digital. And I think you were planning on going to their conference. So we ended up meeting in person. And check this out, you guys. I found this picture. So when we finally met in person, it was like meeting a celebrity for me. It really was. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm meeting her in person. So let me show you my screen grab on the screen here. And your energy level and your personality, everything were the same as meeting in person as they were, meeting you online. So I'm just trying to pull up my my screen here.
Yeah, and it's funny, Brenda, because we both had a session that we were speaking there. We both were speaking on a session there.
That's right. What was you were moderating a panel, weren't you?
I did. I moderated the virtual assistant and augmented reality panel.
Awesome.
And it was so dope.
Yeah. So I took like a bunch that day. This is the first one. So if you go on my Instagram for Meller Marketing, this is the cover photo. And then there's Katie Martell. She was a presenter. I can't remember her name right now. It's probably in the caption somewhere. There we are. Look at us. Yeah. And Ever the marketer, I think we took a picture in the lobby and I'm like, oh wait, we got to get a banner or something in the background. So we moved around the room and we're like, okay, we got the national banner right behind us. But it was cool. It was very surreal, being in person and meeting you in person. And both being speakers at the same event, I think was very exciting too. So that was like my fangirl moment. I was like, oh my God, I think I screamed across the room, Kesha! Because I'm a goof like that, right?
I
So
love that picture. That was a really cute picture of us. I was
it
like,
was,
"Ooh, I like your shirt." You're like, "I like your
yes, we were both having fun. So before we jump into the conversation here, Kesha, why don't you take a moment and if you could kind of describe a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll jump in and have this conversation about networking.
Yes, yes, yes. So first and foremost, I am a connector. I love connecting to people and I love connecting people to resources. And the biggest thing that comes with connecting is building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so huge on building connections and relationships through everything that I do. So full time, I'm in diversity and inclusion. And I'm also just so connected to so many individuals through the healthcare organization that I work for, that I get to be the change that we want to see in the workplace. So we get to look at processes and things like that and then see how we can make those better. And I also recently launched my speaking platform in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Keish Speaks. And
That's
that's why
awesome.
I chose the topic, networking, it's your superpower, because it's my superpower. And I've recognized that me being a speaker, me being the individual that can connect, but I understand that the biggest thing in networking, because we go to a lot of events, but the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing is really truly building authentic relationships. Like us, we didn't
Yeah.
just let it fall by the wayside. You comment on posts, I comment on posts.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of cheer each other on. And I think that that's the biggest thing that has to happen when you're networking. And too often people miss that piece. And that's why I'm here. I think I was really created to
Yeah.
go out and teach individuals the power of relationships through
Mm-hmm.
networking.
That's awesome. And we're kind of in crazy times right now. And I usually kind of address this a little bit earlier on in the interview because you and I we both have high energy. We're both very kind of outgoing personalities and inspire. I mean, and we're in crazy times right now. But I've had several conversations along the way, and I kind of feel like in times like these, we all do what we can to help
Yeah.
others, right? And I kind of feel like this is my platform. It's almost like, you watch the late night talk shows sometimes just to have a little bit of a reprieve from the day and just, something to kind
Yes.
of laugh and smile. And
I know.
I mean, we're in very serious times here
We
and
are.
we're hoping things will lift and that we'll be healthy and be able to be out there and be networking and be out there on the stage again at some point. But for now, this is kind of our stage, right? It's the online platform.
And I love the fact that you have this platform and that you're bringing others to that platform, because what it does is, yes, the situation is going on and we're all in the same place,
Yeah.
but it allows you to still stay connected, to still build relationships, to still be able to share so much of the amazingness that's already here that we could miss if we say, okay, if we don't see her outside, we don't get to see her, but we still get to connect here in this space. And that is just, to me, I've been following you for a little bit and I've seen the great people that you're bringing on, the content. I see that you're so intentional about this space that it really is, it inspires me to continue and to make sure that I'm connecting during this time as well.
That's awesome. And I feel the same way about you. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm not stalking you by any means, Kesha, but I'm like, so I do my research on the people that I interview, and I can say this to Kesha because I feel like I know her, but I was kind of poking around, and as we first connected, I think on LinkedIn, and then I think immediately afterwards we were kind of connected on Instagram, and then I was finding her podcast, and I was kind of going over. I'm like over on Facebook. I'm in your group now, and all these places. But there's sometimes where I'm LinkedIn is kind of my top platform, my top network. But I am like driven to your posts on Instagram because they're so like inspirational and uplifting and girl power, and they're about supporting and lifting up people. And I'm like, yeah, and I'll like repurpose your stuff sometimes because I like struggle with what do I post, but I find my energy and my inspiration from you a lot on that platform. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you said that. And when I think about my podcast, that's my goal, is to inspire people, to give out resources, to connect people, to hear great things that are happening and easy ways that people can connect. And that's a total reason that I launched my podcast, so that I can stay connected, but also that I can connect other people, that I can get other voices out, and that we can inspire each other. Because every person that I'm connected to, you better believe I'm repurposing things that you do as well,
right?
as well as other people, because there's so much that we are connected to right now, especially during this time of shutdown. well, in the world outside, but online and virtually, I'm seeing so many Zooms. Our team is connecting.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing team meetings and things like that where we do happy hours,
That's
getting to
awesome.
know each other on a completely different level. I think it's really brought so much connectivity right now that you wouldn't even think that because of all of this, that people are even more connected right now.
Right.
Here in St. Louis, they're talking about opening up in the
Are they?
next couple of days or so.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm ready to go out, and I'm okay staying inside and connecting just like this.
Do you normally work at the office, or do you work from your home normally?
I primarily work from home, so it's
Okay.
already been a shift for me. Last year, December, I started working from home, and that was a shift for me then. And so when everything occurred, there really wasn't that much of a difference. The only thing was maybe I couldn't run the Target like I wanted to, or I couldn't go to Starbucks.
Oh, yes. Have you had a Starbucks? Like, when's the last Starbucks you've had? I haven't had one such a long time now.
It's probably been since probably maybe late February. And
I think
because I love chai lattes.
I love chai latte. Oh, yes.
I love them. Went to Target and I found me a chai latte mix.
Oh, nice.
All you have to do is put milk in it.
Okay. It's amazing. Is it good? Is it like, does it taste like the store-bought, like the restaurant made stuff? Yeah.
It's really close. It's really, really, really close. I don't put the whipped cream on it, but otherwise it's really close.
That's awesome. I'll have to try that out. Yeah. It's little things like that too. I mean, it's not like we can't survive without Target, but it's like, I have days where, every now, we're in this situation that we're in, and we're aware of what the limitations are and why we're doing things. And I'm totally fine. I don't look at it as we're being locked down. I mean, we are staying home because we're choosing to do so, and we're staying safe. And I've got my family around, so we're okay. But they drive me a little crazy right now. I mean, they're in the other room right now. It's like so nice to see somebody's face other than my family. Not that I don't love them. I love you guys.
I thought I was the only one that thought that. And my goodness, it's a different time right now.
Yeah.
It really is. And really the biggest thing to me is just saying sane in my mind.
Yes.
And in my heart. Yeah. And I find connecting, and our company also offers a virtual yoga.
Oh, nice.
I know. And
Have
so
you tried
I make sure that I'm doing that at least once a week. They do it a couple times a week, but it helps you just center, because right now we don't know what to do during these times. We don't. We've never been here. So we're figuring it out as we go, as a family, as a country. We're figuring this thing out. And I would rather stay safe too than anything else. And so that's exactly what I've been doing, is staying connected, putting content out on the podcast.
Yes.
All over LinkedIn, finding classes, because LinkedIn has a lot of different things that they do as well.
They do.
When it comes to the training and stuff.
Are you a premium member on LinkedIn, or?
I am a premium. Well, know what? I'm not. I just let it go at the end of February. So I used to be a premium member.
But you did have that, which gave you access to the LinkedIn Learning, probably.
Yeah.
Through the learning modules on there. That's awesome. So let's kind of, move this back to our topics here. So networking, it's a superpower. So tell me a little bit of, like, have you always been a networker? Is this a new thing for you? And you've kind of embraced this as a speaking topic as well. And it's the name of your podcast too, or is it your Facebook group, or one and all of the above, or what is it?
One and all the above. It is the name of my podcast, Networking, It's Your Superpower.
Okay.
The Facebook group is also Networking, It's Your Superpower.
So I got the name wrong. It's actually networking. Let me correct this, because I can't
What did you say?
I said networking. It's a superpower, but we have to say
your superpower.
It's your super. Is that better?
That's right.
Okay, there we go.
Yours. And I've been a networker since probably early on. I would say when I originally recognized that it was a gift in me to connect with people. Early on, probably about 1999, as I started to work on my degree and things like that, and being connected in those spaces, I learned really to just be my authentic self, and I was able to build relationships, and people would come and I would learn so much from people. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was, because I didn't stay as connected then, today I'm learning to stay connected, and maybe I'll just even reach out every now and then and say, hey, just thinking about you, hope that all is well. And you never know what kind of conversation will be sparked by just saying, I hope all is well.
Right. Or just reaching out. I have a friend, she's somebody I went to grad school with, and she lives at home. She's not married. She has no pets. And in the beginning, I remember she was like posting little videos of herself, and she's got a stuffed penguin. And it was kind of like she created her, what's that, Wilson, the volleyball in that movie?
Oh
Cat.
yeah.
She created her little penguin, was like her person from home that was with her. And I hadn't heard from her a while, and I messaged her this morning on Instagram, and her name's Megan. And I said, hey, I'm just thinking about you. How are you doing? And she replied back, and we got back and forth a little bit. She's going through a rough patch right now. And you never know when that moment of reaching out to a person and just saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. How are you doing? You never know when that's just going to hit them at the right time when they need to hear
true.
it.
And we have to follow that. When we feel that gut and someone comes to our mind, I always say that I stop and make sure that I reach out, because you never know how you can be their piece for the day. You may be the only person that ever reaches out to them throughout that day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to miss that. And I've recognized that being able to do that really it's my saving grace. Along with their saving grace, but it gives me such a sweet piece just to make sure that I'm staying connected and to really offer my services. I've offered a couple different Zooms. I've been in a women's summit yesterday, Manifesting Move Summit, actually this weekend, Friday and Saturday afternoon.
Oh, very cool.
And what we got to do is pour into women. It was a virtual platform where we talked about how you manifest what it is that you want, being connected, healthy. How do you do that? Wellness. How do you think about your mental health during this state and think about all those pieces that go together? And I've been saying yes. I was also on another talk show earlier today.
Yeah.
My friend in Chicago.
Oh, this is a talk show now, is it? Okay, I like that.
This is a talk show.
I feel like we should have like the big sofa with the oversized cup of coffee in front of us, and my logo on the cups, and
Yes, that's what we need. And that's what I aspire to do, is because I think when it comes to the podcast, I look at it as my talk show. And I get to interview people. And so it puts me on the other side of how I can really help them, because sometimes people will say, you know what, Kesha, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Well, I will guide you and it will be all right. Trust me. And
so do you like being on the other side? Do you like being in the interviewee seat, or do you prefer being the interviewer?
I don't mind either seats. I'm comfortable on either side, but I guess if I had to choose, maybe I would be the interviewer more than anything else.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of fun being on both sides of it. And
it is.
I've done both, and I'm kind of a big believer in, if you want to get really good at something, you just got to keep doing it, whether it's public speaking or networking or doing a podcast or doing an interview. And the more you do, the more you learn, right? Kind of along the way. So
that's absolutely it. And then that's the one thing that I've been saying yes to, is opportunities for me to continue to speak, for me to continue to sharpen up my craft, for me to continue to even spread the word about what I'm doing, and being able to get on different platforms is my number one reason that I say yes, is because I get to keep practicing. I get to keep going, instead of me just saying, okay, during this time, I'm not going to do anything. I think I would go crazy.
Yeah, right. And I can see that. And I think you're the kind of person too, like, you light up when you take the stage, right? That's where you get your energy from. So for anybody who's watching right now, if Kesha, if they're looking to book a speaker for an event, whether it's an online or a conference or something, what are the topics that you speak most often about, or that you are most passionate about?
Absolutely. And the biggest one right now, of course, is networking. It's your superpower.
Okay.
In addition to that, so it says networking, it's your superpower. It builds teams. Networking, it's your superpower for connecting. Networking, it's your superpower for pitching your business. Another one that I've been doing with entrepreneurs here in the St. Louis area, we have Venture Cafe, and it's called How to Pitch Your Business. And when you think about pitching, I talk about passion and how you connect your passion to everything that you do. Because yes, you know how it works, but if you're not passionate about that, and you're not able to articulate that and tell that story, sometimes people don't connect to it. So I work with entrepreneurs on how to pitch. Maybe they're looking for funding and things like that. I work with those individuals too. And then I've also been working with unconscious bias when it comes to that diversity space. So anything that's around diversity and inclusion, how you connect those teams to build cohesion. Because I think the biggest piece that misses in organizations is that ability to build relationships. And if you don't have authentic relationships on your team, it's tough for those people to work together. They won't have each other's back because there's no relationship. And so those are some of the workshops that I get to teach that show you exactly what it is. And then I also host and MC events because I'm one of those people that when I'm up on the stage,
Yeah.
it's like I gravitate. So I can
Yeah.
feel the energy in the room. I can help people bring it up. I can help the energy. I can help the givers. I've been doing a few things where I've been going to giving campaigns, and I help them get the funds in so that they can build their brands and things like that. There's been a lot of opportunities that I've had. I recently spoke at my alma mater, Judson University.
Oh, did you? That's awesome.
Yes, I was their homecoming keynote, and
Oh,
I got
fun.
to speak on the big stage.
Wow.
I said I wanted to do that, and it's been
Yeah.
on my vision board.
That's awesome.
And it happened, and I got to inspire them. We also did network night where we walked through real scenarios on how to network. There were probably maybe a few hundred people that were there.
Okay.
And we did real life networking exercises right then so that they could build real relationships. Because if we're on campuses and we're not connecting, you're missing a boatload of people that you could have in your network. And so that was one of the things that I did as well.
That's awesome.
So much fun.
I want to go backtrack just a second, because there was a word and a phrase that you mentioned a little bit earlier, unconscious bias. And I'm familiar with it. And I feel like it's one of these words. It's kind of like emotional intelligence. I feel like there's probably some people that are watching this right now that have kind of heard of the phrase unconscious bias, but it's almost like marketing or public relations. I think I know what it is, but
right.
But I'm not quite sure. Is it advertising? No, it's not advertising. But like, what, in your own words, Kesha, what is unconscious bias?
I think when I think of my own words, I would say it is stereotyping individuals, a group of people, a person, based off what you think without finding out what it is to know and what the actual truth is. So sometimes we look at people and we say, oh, well, this person's this, or because their culture is this, this is that. But without understanding the true essence of who people are, you never know. So many people are alike that it's not even funny. But sometimes what happens in society is that we build up all these different things, and it takes us away from a real relationship, or it takes us away from truly getting to know a person because our mind's already set up on what they are, what they do, what they eat, when you have no idea, really.
Right. So, I mean, and that's probably something a bigger time. I mean, I think we could have a whole other live interview someday talking about unconscious bias and the implications.
Absolutely.
And then I think there's probably activities and strategies that you can do, because I think we probably all have unconscious bias, whether we want to admit to or not, because it's unconscious. It's not something we say, I don't like carrots. I know that I don't like carrots. It's not something, it's unconscious. It's kind of in our, it's part of, our history and our past, it's part of our culture, our society. So I think that's probably, I'm going to kind of put that on a shelf, because I think we could definitely come back to that. I mean, we could like go off and people are like, wait, they're supposed to be talking about networking. What happened? They went like sideways. But that's what I do, you guys. I go sideways on stuff sometimes, but
that's okay, because we have to pivot, and that's
pivot.
You're right. We can go on and on and on about it. And I think the biggest thing today is we get to make a conscious decision to dispel any unconscious bias.
Love it.
But be willing to walk through that process of the awareness. And I think that's the biggest thing that we get to do, is we get to be aware, and we get to choose, because it's something that we can reprogram with a pivot.
Yeah. But you do have to bring it into the conscious, right?
Yeah.
To kind of pull it
and
down.
You got to talk about it, and it may not always feel comfy.
Love it. So we're going to open this up to audience comments in just a second here. So I'm just going to remind you guys, if you haven't already dropped your comments below, to drop those in now. And while we are kind of shifting gears and getting ready for comments, I'm just kind of curious, Kesha, so you and I are you an introvert or are you an extrovert, by the way? I'm curious.
Capital extra without the O, would put an A instead of the O. Extrovert.
I love it. You're like the other side of the extroverts. You're like that plus some. But I when I was asking the question, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like you are an extrovert, but I could also see you like after you're speaking or after you're at an event, like having that quiet time to recharge. But maybe I'm completely wrong.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
You are spot on, because I've been doing this today.
Yeah.
So what I
Yeah.
need to do afterwards, I know, is to sit down,
Yeah.
relax, take my bath, unwind,
Nice.
and have my time. And my family understands it. And I'm so grateful that they
Mhm.
understand that I can be really, really, really high.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
Then you need to shut it off, right? Plug it in, recharge it, and then come back tomorrow. Right?
It's all about that refilling. And I always think about it in
Yeah.
everything that we do. We have to make sure that we're refilling up our tanks,
Yes.
because we can't operate on that half tank. We
Mhm.
need to refill it up back to
Yes.
the top and keep going.
Love it. Love it. So this is a really great point. I'm going to now pop over to, we're going to look at Facebook first, and then we'll come back to
Okay.
LinkedIn next. But we've had a couple comments coming in. So Catherine Bigenho, she is actually here in Metro Detroit with me. Catherine,
Hi,
nice to see
Catherine.
you online. And then Chris said he loves lemon meringue pie. Chris, that's a great choice. Very good. Michael Baker is joining us from Grosse Pointe Woods, which is here in Michigan. Nice to see you, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
And then we have my friend Mavita is her first name. She goes by the Facebook handle Faith with Heels. She says hello to both of us.
Hey.
Do you know Flowers Daisy? I don't recognize this name.
Daisy.
Someone you know?
Yes,
okay.
That's my girl. She's in Chi-Town. I think she's in Chicago. She might be in California somewhere. Hey, Daisy.
Nice to see you. And then Susan Blaine has our first question. So shaking hands. I had a conversation with my husband about this the other day, and he's like, yeah, I think shaking hands, we're done with that. And I'm like, how can we be done with shaking hands? Like, that just seems crazy. What do you think, Kesha? Are we done with shaking hands, or what do you think is going to happen?
That's a good question, Susan. I think that we have some. I think we have a little bit of time, and I think we can still make connections without shaking hands right now. And being safe, I would say, let's give it a little bit before we start back shaking. But what we can do is we can bump elbows.
What are you going to do, Kesha? Are you going to be an elbow? I might be a curtsy. I might do the curtsy and bow down.
That one move that Kid and Play does? I might just do the foot kick.
Oh, that's nice. A little foot knock, because that's kind of the equivalent, but you're not worried. Like, I worry about the elbow is getting us within the six feet of
because we're still that's still too close. You're right. That's a great question, Susan.
But it'll be something that we eventually will need to figure out, once events start to open up and we're out in the public. So Monica agrees. She loves the talk show. So today on Kesha and Brenda Live, we're going to talk about networking and and then we have
from St. Louis.
We have Tyra Cole joining us here. All right. And I'm going to pop us off of Facebook, and I'm going to go to LinkedIn. So with StreamYard, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Kesha, but I can't see the comments up on screen. So what I have to do, guys, is I'm not being rude. I'm actually pulling out my phone so I can see your comments right now.
I would love it if you did a StreamYard class or something here on Facebook.
I wish we could. So part of the rules of, I could probably do it on Facebook, not on LinkedIn, but part of the rules of LinkedIn Live is we're not supposed to talk about LinkedIn during LinkedIn Live is one of the rules. And as by way of, we can, I have not seen them shut anybody down, but I don't want to be made an example of or anything like that. So I don't have I don't want to have like a topic that says LinkedIn 101 is my LinkedIn Live, and then they shut the whole operation down. But I was thinking about doing an interview with somebody else about StreamYard and doing it live to LinkedIn. And they said, well, that's kind of like pulling the curtain back. And we don't know if LinkedIn wants to do that. But I think we could probably do it on Facebook sometime. I
think that's a good idea. And I think it's something that's so needed, especially in this day and age. So many speakers probably don't even know the details and how to get in there, but you're popping up questions and got these things scrolling across.
Little banners. Let me get another banner going over here. The banners are kind of fun. Yeah, the little, so I'm going to drop this in here right now because now we're into Q&A. So this is my little questions. All right, so let me give you some shout outs here. Samira Balakri joining us from Virginia, David Riddle from Oak Park, Illinois, Sohan Nair from South Carolina. Hi, guys. How you doing? We have Melissa G joining us from Connecticut. Samira says hi. We have, we have Pat Garcia joining us from Orlando. Nice to see you again, Pat. And Penny Sprague joining us from Dallas, Texas. William Anderson. He says, hello, everyone from MPLS. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? MPLS?
MPLS?
Yeah. It's like a little acronym. We'll have to figure that out. William, if you're still on, tell us what that is.
Minneapolis?
I don't know. Does anybody know what MPLS means? Maybe there's a typo in there. We're like trying to crack the code and it's a typo. Who knows? But William, if you're still on, drop us a comment and tell me what that means.
Yes.
Lori Mooten says hi. Jim Jonas is joining us from Southern Indiana. Nice to see you online, Jim. Hey, we are international. We've got Prince G joining us from New Zealand. So there we have. That's international there. Lori's from Metro Detroit. Olga Covton agrees positivity is key, and she loves how we're supporting each other. Kim Boudreaux Smith is out here in Metro Detroit with me, and she says, yes, for sure, the blank you do, the more you learn and grow. So let's try to fill in the word that's missing there. The more you do. The coffee you do, I don't know. I'm filling the funny words there. Relationships, she added it in. Relationships is key, is what she's saying there.
And everything that we do, and we don't think about that, but everything that we do is relational. The cleaners, the grocery store, kids' schools, daycares, offices, business, all that stuff. Everything that we do is relational. Our lawn care service, whatever we do, it is relational.
Yes.
Everything.
Relational. So Jenny Carino, thank you, Jenny. She clarified for William. She said MPLS means Minneapolis. I guess it would make sense. Minneapolis, right?
I was right. Yay! I
get
a prize.
That's like there's a meme that's floating around right now, and it's talking about your destinations that you're moving from, like KTH is kitchen and LVM is living room, because we can't say we're going to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Detroit Metro and New York City. So we can like have these destinations. So MPLS is Minneapolis. And then we have Bill Jarvis joining us from West Palm as well. So we're up to about 80 views and about 22 comments here on LinkedIn. And I'll let you guys, if you had any additional comments, you can throw them in here. But I'm going to just see, there looks like there was one or two more comments that came in. Oh, Monica's saying Minneapolis as well. So apparently you and I are the only, well, you knew, I didn't know. Minneapolis, MPLS. I guess everybody else is aware of what that phrase is.
I guess that's their abbreviation, because it's such a long.
That's the city code or something then. So
yeah, it must be. Thank you guys for the hookup. Now we know.
There we go. We've learned today.
Now we know, so that when we go and speak in Minneapolis.
Great. We'll be dropping the code. We'll be like, hey, MPLS, how's everyone doing here today? Yeah. We'll be like, who's this crazy person?
Yes.
So Kesha, how are you doing now with networking? Are you doing more of the online? Are you finding organizations to go online and network with? Or are you kind of zoomed out with the work meetings now? Tell me about that.
There's a ton of Zoom meetings throughout the day, but what I've been doing is over my lunch period, I make sure that I'm connecting. And then in the evening, I've been connecting more than I probably would have had we not gone through this. Okay. And what I've been doing is I'm connected to an organization here in St. Louis called Focus St. Louis. And Focus St. Louis does so much impact in the community, and they provide resources. Is
it Reese's peanut butter cups? That's awesome. Sign me up.
They do civic engagement, and so they're all about community leadership development. Okay. I went through their Coral Women in Leadership program, and what they do is they offer so many resources. So they're connected to a conglomerate of organizations. So it's been really easy to stay connected and to network. I just recently also sat in on one of the things that they were working on to build up a speaker and an author platform for people who are in the process of writing books and completing books. I'm there right now.
Are you an author yet, or are you finishing?
I can't wait. It's gonna. My book is gonna be titled "Networking. It's Your Superpower."
Love it. Just like the title. You got the whole branding. You've got the group. You got the podcast, the book. I'm gonna like follow in your footsteps here. This is awesome.
Girl, Brenda, we need to make sure that we connect, because when it comes to marketing and really getting the podcast out, that's the one thing that I'm learning right now, and I'm working through that. But you can only get so much reach with just posting something on Facebook. We already know that. And so I worked on building my YouTube channel to get more reach and things like that. But I'm looking at how you can really market the podcast, to market the resources, and really get people connected. And so the podcast networking, It's Your Superpower, is on Anchor. And
Okay.
Anchor instantly puts you on 7 different platforms. So I've been teaching people how to start a podcast too. So I recently was in another event where they were talking about starting podcasts, and I just shared what I've been doing. And really, you can do everything from your phone. You don't need to connect. You don't have to have a microphone. You do need to have your speaker from your cell phone, but otherwise there's not a lot. But it really has helped me stay connected and kept me networking in everything that I do. Yes.
So I kind of just pulled it in the background real quick because like I said, I was not stalking you. I was researching you before.
Keep stalking.
But I was trying. If I can give you a marketing suggestion. So when I was on your website, and I'm gonna throw that up on screen here right now, and then I'll toggle back here for a second. So this is your website, right? Let me just put that back up on screen here for a second, and then I'm gonna wait and see if it comes up. So this is your website. Okay. And then when I'm on your website, so I was kind of trying to find your podcast because I was trying to find your YouTube channel or your podcast, because here's my confession, you guys. I know Kesha. I've met her a while back, and in my mind, her first name is Kesha. But then I was having a little bit of a panic moment before the interview. I'm like, what if it's Kesha? And I've been like mispronouncing her name all along. So I started like trying to find her online. And I'm like, I couldn't find a video on your website. And then I scrolled down to the bottom and I found like your other handles, but add your YouTube icon and then add your Anchor FM icon to the bottom here too, just to make it, easy for people to find you. So then I went on the podcast and I only listened to a few of them, but you didn't introduce yourself in there. And then there was a YouTube video, but it was like somebody else introduced you on stage and you didn't say, hi, I'm Kesha. So how am I going to work this in where I have her introduce? Why don't you go ahead, welcome my special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself so I don't like make the mistake first? I'm like, in my mind, it's Kesha, but I'm like, is it or is it Kesha?
That's so funny. Now where I have it, so go back to my website and I'm going to show you where it's at on my website. And I don't know if I'm going to make sure that I put an icon on the bottom too, because that's a great idea. But if you go to the website and you go where it says Let's Connect, scroll back up to the top.
The top. Okay. Look at this. All right.
Say Let's Connect.
There you go. Okay.
Bam.
Is everything here? Oh, look at that. Everything is here.
I'm going to make sure that I put something on the bottom too, because that's a great idea.
So
it's in that first space.
And like, exactly. I mean, now that you said that, I'm like, oh, of course it's going to be there. But for me, I was like,
people don't know, right? Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah. So
I'm glad that you looked at that.
Awesome. So you've got your podcast going, you're doing speaking engagements, you're still out there doing networking, and you've got a group on Facebook too, if I'm not mistaken too, right?
Yes.
So
and in the group, what I get to do on the group is I would just share resources. And so my goal there is to share resources and allow people to share what they're doing and teach individuals that it's about your passion and to show up with your passion. So when new people come in, I welcome them and say, tell us what you're passionate about. Instantly, we want to go to tell what we do. But when you tell a person what you're passionate about versus telling what you do, what'll happen is they're going to get connected to your passion, sometimes even greater than they get connected to what you do, because they may say, well, I don't need anyone that does that. But when you say, I'm passionate about XYZ, then they can get connected to that and they'll keep going.
I love it. This is great. I threw it up on screen. I found a May the 4th. I think I was a Yoda one that I shared on Instagram today, but May the 4th be with you, Kesha. So is this a group that anybody can request to join, or is this by invitation only?
That anyone can request to join. The biggest thing I say is just make sure that you want to network.
Yeah.
And that you want to engage, because one of the things that I want to make sure that we're doing is we're engaging, because we sit on Facebook, but Facebook can be used as a great tool to connect if we use it that way. But we must make sure that we're connecting, we're saying hello, we're engaging, we're cheering people on. We can even go on there and buy all sorts of things from a lot of different organizations and see reviews and businesses, small business. But I want to make sure that small business owners get in that group and they're sharing what they do. We can all share that with all of our networks. Right now, I think there's probably maybe almost 300 people in the group, and we just started the group, I think last week.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, look at you got 272 members on here. That's awesome.
Week before last, we started it, and
that's wonderful.
It's been a way for me to stay connected and to share things and show people easy ways to connect. So sometimes I'll post tips on how to engage, tips on LinkedIn. Are you getting on LinkedIn to use your profile? Are you connecting? I always share resources and share how people can go on and just do amazingness right at their phones with everything that they're doing.
That's awesome. And you got videos of yourself. I
Yeah,
probably would have kept.
motivation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well,
Thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely. And I hope you don't mind me popping. I'm like, I just kind of go rogue on these interviews sometimes, guys. I'm like, people are talking about something and I'll Google it and I'll pull it up. And they're like, how did you do that so quickly? I'm like, well, I just pulled it out, pulled it out of thin air. So,
ready.
Yeah, as we wrap, and I think you're at what time there? Is it 4:45 Central? Is it Central time for you?
It is Central Standard for me, yep.
Okay, and I am actually in Eastern time zone. It's 5:45, and I'm going to see if I can pop his comment up on screen here. My husband just got home. I think he went to visit a friend, and I hear him wrestling around with a bag in the other room, and I don't know if he got carry out or if he got like adult beverages, but I hear a bag rustling.
Oh, Chris, great job.
Whatever it is, something's happening, but it's
the Husband of the Year award.
Something's happening over there. So as we wrap here, Kesha, any final comments you'd like to share with the group, or resources, words of inspiration, or otherwise that you'd like to share with us?
Yes. I would love for all of you cool cats and gals, like what's her name, Carol Baskin.
Right? Cool cats and kitties, or what does she say? What's the line?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I would love for you guys to subscribe to my podcast, to give me topics, episode ideas, to share with me content that you would love for me to bring to the podcast. I would love for you to get connected. I would love for you guys to share resources so that we all can stay connected. And then my biggest thing is this: I would love for you guys to truly walk in your gifting of networking. And you don't have to do it how I do it, because again, I'm an extrovert to the 10th power, and that's okay. I want you to network in your form, in your fashion, but just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't think that you need this, you need that. We think that networking is so difficult, but it's truly not. And so to all of you guys that said hello, thank you. I would love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my professional place where I'm at. And then I also have a Facebook page for my business that I'm growing as well. But I would love to stay connected. And I want you guys to know that everything that, thank you, Monica, everything that you have in the inside of you when it comes to your gifts will make room for you. But the biggest thing that we need to do is we need to work on our crafts every day. We need to stay focused, because in this time we could go cray.
Yes.
Or we could choose not to go cray.
Yes.
But I say stay focused and make sure that you're connecting, because when all of this dies down, I know new technology now. I've been playing around in StreamYard.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So it's one new thing I've learned. Anchor, where my podcast is at, I've learned that. And I'm just looking to ways to keep learning. So if you have resources that you would love to share with me in this platform, I would love it. Thank you again, Brenda, Meller.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate you and your energy. And you're an introvert, right?
I am. And I it doesn't mean I don't like to be on stage. It just means like days like today where I delivered a couple of webinars and I was in a couple of webinars today. So like when we're done here, I'm like literally pulling off the headphones, wiping the lipstick off, pulling my hair back. I'm done.
So you have
I did the little ones today. They're kind of subtle because I moved my location. I'm normally in my home office. I just needed a change of pace. And I'm in our front room right now. And my family's kind of walking in the background. And then I've also got, it's kind of tiny, but I show you guys my stuff too. Look at my little lapel mic. Testing. So it's kind of tucked in.
High tech, girl.
Well, it's low tech, and it's the little workarounds. Like I'm a big believer in as an entrepreneur and not over investing in technology. And I also don't want to go out of business before the 5-year mark. I want to stay in business forever for myself. So I kind of invest slow, but I think these are actually my husband's. Are these yours? This little, he just walked through the room right now. Yep. Was that adult beverages or dinner? What did you get for us? What was in the bags that you were rustling around?
Nothing.
You were rustling around in bags in the kitchen. He's denying it right now.
No,
it's adult beverages. He's probably got himself something and nothing for me.
Yeah, not the kids are making dinner.
Yeah, right. So Kesha, I threw your LinkedIn URL up on the screen here. You're okay? We're open to accepting invitations from people?
Absolutely.
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 All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And as we kind of finalize the conversation here, I just want to remind everybody who's watching, make sure that you subscribe to my mellermarketing.com/subscribe, my VIP email list, so you get notifications about future interviewees that I have, and I send out LinkedIn strategy tips and that as well. If you happen to be watching this in playback, I would love it if you guys could click to share this video. Hey, there you go. Make a comment and let us know that you're watching it in playback, but definitely share this video out. You never know when a message that we're sharing here today might help somebody in your network, you know, whether they are introverts, extroverts, or extra with an A, extroverts, and the word I learned for today. And all these great resources that Kesha has shared with us today, you know, including her group, her podcast, all of that great information. So definitely take a moment to share that out. All right, Miss Kesha, I'm going to get you back to your rest of your week. Thank you so much. It was a delight speaking with you today.
It was good to see you. I appreciate you, and let's connect.
Definitely. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. Stay healthy, stay safe.
I will.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys around. All right, take care. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.